You're listening to the Ringer NBA show presented by FanDuel. America's #1 sportsbook is the best place to bet on the NBA because not only does FanDuel have all your favorite player props, but now you can even check out stats and recent performance trends right in the app before you make your picks. Just download the FanDuel Sportsbook app today to get in on the action. The Ringer is committed to responsible gaming. Please visit rg-help.com to learn more about the resources and helplines available and listen to the end of the episode for additional details. Must be 21 plus and present in select states. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com.
Welcome to the brand new Zach Lowe Show. That's right, I'm back to have the same in-depth NBA conversations you're used to. We're going to talk about the games. Yeah, the games, the X's and O's, the drama, the trades, the playoffs are coming up. And now you get to see every episode in full on video on Spotify and on my own YouTube channel. Episodes drop every Monday and Thursday with a collection of guests you're going to love. So make sure you follow and subscribe to the brand new Zach Lowe Show on Spotify or wherever you watch or listen to your podcast. Let's go!
It's poppin'. Real ones. Logan Murdock here. Roger Bell there. Howard Beck in the motherfucking cut. Victoria on the video. Cliff on the boards. Man, what a week of postseason play and storylines. Can't wait to get into it. I just want to make the disclaimer. I wanted to start the show by talking about OKC and their comeback, but Cliff last night said, no, we got to talk about the New York Knicks first because bigger city, bigger market. So for any of you real ones out there that think we disrespect small markets, it's not us, it's our producer. So we're going to talk about the Knicks first. The Knicks took game 3, of the first round series against the Pistons. What a game, man. I was not expecting a Karl Towns legacy game. Me and Raja talked about how at least I wanted to see more from Karl Towns. And who am I? But I wanted to see more from him as a number 2. And he more than delivered. There is a line. When I was a kid, Raja and Howard, I was really, misguided and trying to figure shit out. And I used to listen to this rapper by the name of Webby. Still listen to him. He has a record called I'm Hot on the Savage Life 2 album. And there's a line on there that says, I'm going to be bigger than Jigga if they don't hit me up first, right? And I always took that mindset seriously. And I wanted Karl Towns to evoke that mindset. And he has done that thus far in Game 3. And I want him to continue to do that for the rest of the series and by extension the rest of the playoffs. Raja, how does he evoke that mindset throughout the playoffs?
I'm going to be bigger than Jigga unless they hit me up first. Mindset?
That level of confidence. Yes, that's the line. We need that level of confidence in our players. How does he keep that
I think, you guys don't hear that banging? Nobody hears that?
No.
Okay.
No, we don't hear that banging.
Okay, I'm going to block it out then. I just went noise reducing as I... So I thought he did a good job. Look, clearly Detroit, we talked about the double teams they were sending at him. In Game 2, they looked to have confused him a bit. I need to really go back and look at it. I didn't see the variety of looks that they gave him in Game 2, but he was like, fuck that. And which is what you have to be when you are a number 1 or a 1A or 1B, a 2. Like, you can't accept those doubles in the way that don't allow you to do your job. And I thought last night he did a really good job of knowing where it was coming from, knowing it was going to be there regardless, and just being aggressive despite that. So, he got himself going. There were some, he did a much better job of just catching and shooting, which, if you're doing that and you're not having to get into your, quote unquote bag, it doesn't give any type of double a chance to really get there. You're just squeezing open looks. But even when he did and they got him the ball, free throw line extended or below, he went to work in a way that kept him out of the paint a lot of times and away from the double. And so, you just have to be aggressive. Like, you just have to look at what they did to you from game to game, figure out, that baseline flood that they were using against him, primarily last night. He did a really good job of either attacking quick to the middle on it, kind of leaving that guy that's on the baseline kind of out of position to really affect him on a double. Or when he went towards the baseline, it was some sort of fade, pull up, like something before he got to the secondary defender. So you just stay aggressive. and make your mind up that even if they're doubling, unless it's just a red where they're hitting you and making you get rid of the ball, that you're going to get up a certain amount of shots. Like, your team needs you to produce to a certain degree. You can't accept a defensive like game plan that's going to like take you out of your ability to produce for your team if you can help it.
Howard, the league and by extension sports in general is all about reputation. And reputationally, Karl Towns in the postseason hasn't been very good, right? Like he has taken his lumps both the majority of his time in Minnesota. Reputationally, if he continues to play like this, what does this do for him in the NBA eye and in basketball at large? What does this do for him if he continues to be that number two, continues to play hard, continues to put up the numbers that he's putting up, and most importantly, the Knicks win in the postseason?
Well, that last part is obviously the most important part, right? Like if Towns has a big first round and the Knicks somehow lose anyway, that's not going to do anything for anybody. Towns has suffered from a couple of different things in the course of his career, right? Like one, smaller market, Minnesota. Two, bad ownership, Minnesota. Not the greatest supporting cast. Although, look, he's had multiple fellow number one draft picks with him. Some of them just haven't performed like number one overall draft picks. Hello, Andrew Wiggins. So there's been a lot on him. But also, there's a lot of personality stuff and a lot of reputational stuff that just has to do with like perceptions of Towns, right? Like he's kind of corny sometimes. He talks the way he talks. He gets caught on the not caught on, but like when he was mic'd up a couple of years back, and he's like, now they got to come to our house or whatever it was. They got to come to Minnesota. Like he doesn't come off like your typical or prototypical NBA badass, right? So some of this is just perception. Because the numbers, I think, are usually there. I thought that the nice thing last night, he came out incredibly aggressive. And some of that was just hitting his first few threes, and some of that was actually going to the basket. He got it in that little scuffle between him and Paul Reed and Mitchell Robinson. And, just kind of like, all right, I'm in this. Like, and he smiled as it was starting to get broken up. Like, we're not really doing this because it's the NBA in 2025. No one's really doing this. But he was right in there. I thought that was good. He had a late block, like the final minute or two. Big block. Like, that was important. It's stuff like that. Like, like Karl-Anthony Towns is who he is. And I don't think there's anything, no one should be criticizing that. We get too caught up in the personality stuff. I don't even like bringing that up because I don't want to put too much weight on it, but it is the way that people see him is a little bit through the way he presents himself. As a player, the dude's great, but you do have to prove it over and over again in the playoffs. And some of that has to do with your toughness on both ends of the court. Some of that has to do with delivering in crunch time, and that block goes a long way for that. They've got control of the series again. They took home court advantage back. And that's huge. There's now all the pressure in the world on this young Pistons team to win game 4 at home, because if they don't, they're toast.
Can I just add to that? I agree with it. My bad, Logan, before you tee somebody up. The block, the crunch, post like the little shimmy shoulder fade to the baseline, like those are big time clutch plays that go towards kind of changing the narrative. But I would argue, like, even if, like, let's say the Knicks didn't win the series, right, hypothetically, but he played to that level night in and night out through the course of like 7 games, I think that's a step for him too, right? Because we're talking about having those performances consistently, right? Like, right. not right. That's what we're talking about, right? Can he consistently deliver, to that level? Maybe not to the tune of the exact point, production last night, but that's the narrative I think he's trying to shake. Like, in these playoffs, can I consistently be like a true 1B or number 2? And so, but he's got to do that night in and night out. It can't be like I show up every, 2 games. Like, this is a job that requires consistency.
Well, I think about when you say that, Raja, all the times that you have talked about how role players have a relationship with the stars in the way on court, right? Where if you can pencil in player X, who is a star, to get you 28, 5, and 5, that really helps the rest of the roster, like the Raja Bells, like the OG Ananobis, like the Josh Harts, helps them put them where their place is. But like when your star is inconsistent in the way that Cat can be, even in the regular season, that kind of messes up the flow, right? Where you're like, I don't know is he going to give me 25 or is he going to give me 15? I don't know if I can pencil it in. So then it kind of puts pressure on the other guys, right, to do that. And when there isn't that consistency, right?
Well, I was like, I lacked self-awareness, I guess, because I didn't really care what a star did. Like if Star was missing, I got more shots. Like I didn't give a shit. I was trying to get 30. You know what I mean? Like that's just
fuck them.
You know. But that's the feeling I had, right? Like whether I'm right or wrong, I just felt like, hey, I don't get to do it because they're better than me. But if they're not here, that just means I got to do it. So, but yeah, generally speaking, I do agree with you, Logan. Like for most guys who have settled into a role in the NBA, it's unfair to ask them to have to step into someone else's role regularly, and in those type of environments for the team to be successful. One-offs, sure, dude. Like any role player on any given night can pop off and get you 30 and help you win a game. Like, but if that role player is having to do that every third night because we don't know if our true stars are going to show up, I mean, that speaks to bigger problems. And we're not equipped to do that. We could be as lacking as much self-awareness as I clearly was, but like, that's not my job. There's a reason that's not my job because I can't do that consistently. So that's why you're getting paid what you're getting paid, mofo. That's your job. So yes, we need you guys to, come out and, have the look in your eye, man. It might not always translate into success. It might not translate into you had the 27 that we needed. But if it looks like you only shot 11 shots, you didn't shoot a shot in the fourth quarter, the stats from game 2, that's like we weren't even there to like compete and do the job we're paid to do. And that's different for a role player. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, look, if you're out there swinging, shooting, doing what you normally do, and you're not making them, dude, we're all human. But it is a much more comforting spot for the role guy to look into the star's eyes and say, okay, he's here for the shits. Like, whether this works or not, like, he's here tonight. And then you let the chips fall where they may.
I want to talk to you about one of your favorite subjects, Raja, the referees. Because there
love
was
it. Wait, no, go ahead. I love this series, though. I love the series because it's my favorite series.
Yeah. I mean, that's why one of the reasons why we're leading the show with it. But like, so in the last 10 seconds, and I want to get your opinion on it as a basketball opinion. I forget what the score was, but it was a side out of bounds play, and the Knicks get the ball to Brunson, and it seems like it was an over and back, right? Even Brunson, like, I feel like with basketball players, they always snitch on themselves by the reactions that they have. I remember Quentin Post, when I was in Houston, had fouled somebody behind the line, and he didn't even fake it. He said, fuck, really loud, right? Like, he didn't even fake it to try to, like, play it off. And Brunson did the same thing when he caught the ball. It seemed like he was like, oh, shit, the backcourt. And he got fouled. They awarded him 2 free throws. Zach Zarba said that in the pool report, Brunson and the trajectory of the pass were headed toward the backcourt. Brunson's momentum was taking him there when his body touches the ball. That's why that play was legal. So that happens, right? And then I think it was a second left. Brunson shoots a free throw. It intentionally tries to miss a free throw because there was no more seconds. If I don't think the Pistons had timeouts, there was not enough time for them to, if they miss, to actually heave a shot. It improved their probability to win. But the clock didn't go off. I believe what happened was the ball, the clock went out when the ball hit the rim as opposed to when someone touched the ball. All that being said, how would you grade the refereeing in the final 20 seconds of the game? And do you agree with the calls? The last one is a bit more just like it's a mistake. The first one is a little bit more of a gray area.
I mean, in fairness, I was at that point, the draft was going on too, the NFL draft. So, I did not really pay attention to that backcourt foul.
Love the Raiders pick,
call.
by the way. Go ahead, Raiders.
So that one wasn't really on my radar like that. Like as if I had just been watching the broadcast by itself and locked in like that. And when I rewatched this morning, I didn't spend any time on it either. So I don't have a great answer for you as it relates to that 20 seconds, Logan. What I will say is I love the way they're reffing the series. And that's kind of the reason, I say this is my favorite series. I mean, these games are compelling. We can say whatever we want, but like New York's closers closed better last night. Karl-Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson, like they closed better. So, I thought they deserved to win it. Like 2 minutes left in the game, they were able to get to what they wanted to do and get those buckets in a way that Detroit didn't do as well. But as it relates to the refs, they're letting them hoop. The level of physicality in this series is really, really, really fun for me to watch. They're getting after it. You're seeing bodies on the ground. Dudes, there are multiple scuffles where guys are getting a little upset with each other. The amount of 50-50 balls that are being pursued by like two guys, diving, three guys diving in there. I think the refs are doing a good job of letting this series be physical to a point. Because I like that. It's more fun for me to watch, but not letting it get over the top. I don't think they've lost control of this series, and that's not an easy thing to do, to allow guys that big, that strong, that competitive to really get after each other in a way that you normally don't see now, and not have it boiling over, all the time, to still be able to have some control over that. So I like the way it's been officiated by and large.
Good shit, Roz. Out here, look at you. You're complimenting the refs, man. Look at that.
Thanks.
That's called growth.
Hey, listen,
It's
not called growth. What I do is call a spade, whether you agree with me or not. As I see it, that's what the fuck I'm going to call it. So
don't accuse Raja of growing or evolving.
Never that.
Yeah. God forbid I compliment the man. Howard.
I too refuse to grow up.
Yeah. Fuck that.
We got two Toys R Us kids in here. Howard, how big of a series is this for we know how big of a series this is for the Pistons for all the reasons, right? Just because they haven't been on this stage. But how big of a series is this for the Knicks, right? Where all season we've basically just been writing their obituary, talking about including Cliff, by the way, chief among them.
Mostly
Cliff. Mostly Cliff, yeah. I'll give him a chance to defend himself in a second. But how important is this for them and their psyche for a game like this to happen, right? Where this is game 3s, 5s, and 7s are always huge games in series. And for him to, what up, Beck's cat, who was out here, just wanted to make an appearance as well. And Beck is trying to hold it together. Yeah, just jumped in your lap. Okay. Anyway, for Beck and the cat is welcome to answer the question as well. How big of a series is this for them, knowing all of the things that we have talked about them, about maybe their readiness throughout the season, and maybe if they could get upset in this round, they're kind of pushing back on this early in the series.
I mean, listen, this has been, and I wrote about this last week between games 1 and 2, or earlier in the week, I should say. Like, even Knicks fans, including our buddy Ben Stiller, who was at the game last night with Timothy Chalamet, like,
I love how casually Ben just was like, yeah, I'm going with Chalamet tomorrow.
Yeah. He got more screen time than Chalamet last night on the broadcast.
It's crazy.
It's funny.
It's crazy.
The place was apparently ear splitting, according to Ben and everybody else. Jake Fisher, our buddy, tweeted at one point that he couldn't hear the whistles. And then, like, if you heard JB Bickerstaff afterward, like, JB Bickerstaff might have blown out a vocal cord. Like, he sounded like awful. That place was crazy. Even Knicks fans this season, and I know a lot of them obviously here in New York, have been like really kind of like not sure what to make of the Knicks. Like, okay, you went all out to add Towns and Mikal Bridges. And are you demonstrably better? Because the record and everything else suggests that you're about the same. You know, a little better offensively, a little worse off defensively, a little less depth, a little less grit because they lost DiVincenzo and Isaiah Hartenstein. Like, they're not necessarily better, worse, or otherwise. They're just different. And all that said, you still expect you have to at least be getting out of the first round. Like, I think the Knicks and their fans understand, like, they are a talent level below the Celtics. And that collision course does not bode well for the Knicks getting to the conference finals. But you do have to at least win the first round series. So I think when you lose home court advantage, and when the Pistons, even in game one, they were holding up pretty well. They fell apart in the fourth quarter because that's what happens to a young team making its first playoff appearance. Game two showed that the Pistons have adjusted. They figured out how to play in this environment. But last night, fourth quarter kind of was more reminiscent of game one. Like Cunningham's pulling up short on a I think it was a 3-pointer, and a couple of miscues, couple of bad turnovers. Obviously, I don't think that the Pistons were going to do anything with that last inbounds play with a half a second left, but Jalen Duren's inbounds pass flying over him and out of bounds, like stuff like that's going to kill you. So the Knicks are back in control. And I think winning this series, all it will do for them, this doesn't do anything for the Knicks other than gets the weight off for a minute. It's a sigh of relief. Like, okay, we didn't get snuffed in the first round. Because if they lose in the first round, that's when there's hell to pay. And the Knicks have been really stable for the last several years, ever since Leon Rose and Tom Thibodeau arrived. But a first round exit, there would be a lot of noise. So they need to win this, if for no other reason than to show we're still on the right track and then see where things go against Boston.
Before I put a bow on this, let's go back to Detroit. Well, no, before I put a bow on this, Cliff, come here, buddy. Come on, let's see what you got to say, man. Cliff,
what's good?
Cliff, you talked a lot of shit, man. Shout out Saba, baby. Shout out to all the homies. Shout out to everybody in Detroit. You talked a lot of shit.
Detroit showed out last night, bro.
Detroit won. The crowd won the game.
Every celebrity in Detroit was there, dog.
How are you feeling during the series? You were talking a lot of shit about on behalf of the Pistons. You had 2 words: Detroit basketball. I thought you moved there for a second. How are you feeling about this series? With the Pistons?
Detroit like a second, third home to me. So first of all, it's always all love with the D. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to our man Craig Reynolds. You know what I'm saying? Detroit's running back. That's my guy. But let's just put it this way, dog. I'm still riding with the Pistons. I wish my boy Isaiah Stewart was playing. He instill some toughness. Cat wouldn't have got all them damn easy buckets. Last night was just a little rough night for the Pistons. They were probably a little shell shock. Damn, everybody finally came to the game. Everybody was iced out. They was blinded by everybody on the sidelines when they do that the flash cam.
Blinded by the moment, Roger. Wow.
But look. Detroit, my team Detroit, we're going to make this little comeback. K's going to be a little bit more efficient next game. He won't go 10 for 25. We got to play Tobias Harris less because, trust me, I know about the Tobias Harris experience. Switch some things up. Switch some things up a little bit. And, we back in it. Come on, Detroit, baby. 3-1-3.
Okay.
Detroit basketball, let's go.
Everybody in the 3-1-3. I think Cliff likes Detroit because if he squints hard enough, it's a red, white, and blue team. And he's like, is this the Sixers, maybe? Yeah. No, never mind. FanDuel is letting you get in on the NBA playoffs action right from the first tip. Because right now, all customers can get a no-sweat same-game parlay every weekend when you bet the NBA playoffs. That's right. Just use your token on 3+ leg, same-game parlay, or same-game parlay plus on any NBA playoff game, and you'll get bonus bets back if you don't win. Let's take a look at the slate. Celtics Magic. I think the Celtics win outright. And I'm going to take the over on Paolo points. Let's look at the Pacers Bucks. I think I'm going to take the Pacers outright. But I'm going to take Tyrese Halliburton on the over on assists. I'm going to take the Timberwolves and the Timberwolves over the Lakers. And I'm going to take the over on points, rebounds, and assists on Anthony Edwards. I think he's going to do a good job. And I love betting on FanDuel with their great promotions every day, their safe and secure app, and most importantly, the instant payments. There's no better place to bet on all the playoff action than America's #1 sportsbook. Visit FanDuel.com/RingerNBA and get a no-sweat same-game parlay every weekend of the NBA playoffs. That's FanDuel.com/RingerNBA. FanDuel.com, official sports betting partner of the NBA. Must be 21 years and older and present in select states, or 18 and older and present in D.C. Opt-in required. Minimum 3-leg parlay required. Refund issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Max refund $5 unless otherwise specifies. Restrictions apply, including token expiration. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. Let's do a little round robin about playoffs from last night. I'm going to ask you guys some questions about some series. Then we're going to get to our branded segment from Amazon. Thunder Grizzlies. Wow. Historic collapse of fumbling of the bag, or an historic comeback, depending on what side of the ledger you are on. We're going to take the Memphis part real quick. So the Memphis just packed this thing up and go home. Howard, is it over? Is this series like this has been the most? I guess this is a really entertaining game, but I don't think anyone's surprised by this outcome, right? It's the OKC is up 3-0 for a reason. What are we learning from this series, Howard?
Not much. We're learning that I was right 20 years ago when I said they never should have abandoned the best of 5 first round, because then this thing would just be over and the Grizzlies would be out of their misery and we wouldn't have to watch any more of these games or even pay attention. It should just be over. Second to that, if we are going to have a best of 7 first round series, which we've now had for 20 something years, much to my chagrin, we need a mercy rule. You get blown out by 50
21
something.
skunk.
It's just done. It's just over. They were on pace for the biggest point differential in playoff history or something. Look, kudos to the Grizzlies for fighting back last night and for having a 29-point lead. And who knows what happens in that game if Ja doesn't go out on that scary play.
I do. They win the fucking game. No, they win that game.
Do you think they win?
Yeah, they win that game. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry. Yeah.
Maybe. We'll see. Who knows? Or we won't see. It's all hypothetical. Look, the Thunder are really good. And when they want to clamp down defensively, as we saw again last night, and easier to do when Ja's not out there, but still, I am not dismissing the possibility that even down 29 with Ja healthy, that the Thunder might have just clamped down and the Grizzlies might have faded, because that's what both teams have done all season, right? It's unfortunate it happened the way it did. It's unfortunate that Ja got hurt. But yeah, it's 3-0. No one ever has come back from 3-0. We know this one's done. I think the only real question, and this has been the only real question ever since they got smoked in game 1, it's really just about this offseason. And the one thing, not to be overly glib about what do we learn, you do learn something about contenders, right? They could have lost by double digits last night, and then everybody be like, maybe the Thunder, do have some vulnerabilities. But, look, I've seen plenty of great teams. The Celtics win the championship in 2008. They had to go 7 against the Hawks in the first round. I think no team won a road game in that series.
That happens. They won a road game into the finals that year.
Yeah. So sometimes stuff comes up and you don't remember the details later. You just remember the team was a champion. But last night, I think it was the first time in a while that people might have looked and gone, whoa, are the Thunder really built to go through 3 rounds in the West and then go beat the Celtics or whoever for the championship? I wouldn't put that much stock in it myself. I think this is all ultimately leading to is obviously Thunder advancing and having stiffer tests, and the Grizzlies having to do a hell of a lot of soul searching about this core group. Zach Lowe and I talked about this on his pod earlier in the week. This is not a real big 3. We call it a big 3 because we throw that term around a lot, but this is not a real big 3. Ja, Bane, and Jaren Jackson Jr. just aren't good enough. Not individually, not collectively. And the Grizzlies are going to have to come to grips with that sooner than later.
Maybe they have, according to Howard Beck in February.
Stop it.
Roger, what did you learn about the Thunder in this comeback?
It's a good comeback. I agree with Howard. That's what you hope to see out of teams that think that they have a chance to win a championship, is they just keep chopping, right? And they found themselves, in a hostile environment against a team that was red hot, and they just kept chopping. Even before the Ja went out, they hit the skids offensively there in the second quarter for a while. They just couldn't make a bucket, and they weren't defending up to their normal standard. They just kept hooping. They kept playing. They kept competing. And then, unfortunately, the Ja fall. I am 99.9% sure that with Ja Morant there, I don't care how much they lock down OKC, that is, you're probably not winning that game. You're not coming back from 30 with a true guy that can break down defense. They just lost their ability to break down defense in any real way, right? Everyone was out there just trying to fend for themselves and create shots. You got guys that aren't normal creators. With Ja out there, it just creates opportunity by the nature of the coverages that they have to play. But having said that, like that's impressive. Whether he was there or not, it was impressive to see OKC come back. I do want to touch on, like, there are a few things that kind of triggered me a little bit. It was the play with Ja and all the Lou Dort, like, what Lou Dort was getting. And, he got a little bit of shit. Some people gave him a pass. And then, the other one where Jimmy Butler, and I guess we'll get to that series eventually, and that play. And I saw some people, especially with the Lou Dort one, just saying like how dirty of a play it was. I just didn't see it like that. It's an unfortunate fall. Both of them are. You don't want to see anyone
Same
get
with
hurt,
Ahmed.
like,
I didn't think that was malicious.
No,
in the moment.
at all.
I'm glad we all agree on this one. I was curious to hear Raja on this. Like, neither of these plays struck me as dirty. They just struck me as unfortunate and circumstantial. And
yeah,
like Lou Dort's leg was slipping out, his foot was slipping out from under him, and then he's reaching back while he's off balance because he doesn't even, all of a sudden the ball's gone behind him, and he's like turning around. It's split second, and he's off balance. And Josh Tiven, the referee, when they reviewed it, said as much. So anyway, sorry, go Raj.
Yeah, no, you're right. It was a tough play, and even like let's say like it's never a good idea to bridge someone. And by bridge someone, I mean like when they are up in the air off of 1 foot or 2 feet, you take your body and chop their legs out from under them. There's no place for that. Like that's not something that you should be doing. And if you see someone do that, they are a dirty player, right? Like that. But like, let's say in the world where Lou Dort is not falling down and he's chasing an offensive player who's going to lay it in, and that offensive player drops it behind him, right? He drops it behind Lou Dort. So Lou Dort is turning around to see a Ja Morant like launching himself in the air. Lou Dort has every right to make a play on that ball. Like, not to bridge him or undercut him, but to make a play on the ball. And if that play on the ball results in a fall, like we've gotten to a point where you can't even make a play on a ball once someone decides they're going to launch themselves in the air. I disagree with that.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up, because there was one thing that hit me in rewatching this a little bit, probably way too many times, but I was curious just to kind of see sequence of events and where Lou Dort's body was and how, he's slipping and all this stuff. But to your point, Raja, like if he stays upright and all he does is turn around as a defender, which is what you're supposed to do, I don't want to like blame the victim here, but like Ja tried to launch himself over Lou Dort.
Yes.
Like, Ja, you could have like decided to cut around him. And especially since Dort can't see you, like you would have easily gotten around him because he can't react in real time as he's turning around. Some of this is Ja Morant deciding he always wants to dunk on guys. And a lot of what's happened to him in the course of his career, we've talked about this too, he gets hurt a lot because he's built the way he's built and he launches himself into traffic and at bigger guys all the time. He put himself in jeopardy, frankly. I feel bad for what happened to him, but he put himself in jeopardy with the way he decided to launch himself.
Yeah, he plays balls to the wall, and kudos to that. And you wind up with some amazing highlights when you're doing that. But like, if someone plays defense in a way that puts you in a tough spot there, like that doesn't make it dirty. And so like I just wanted to address that. The second thing I think is interesting, and like this is kind of what I was saying. Denver finds themselves in a situation with their back against the wall. Clearly, Memphis is in a situation where, I mean, they're probably already have slid off the wall and they're out the door. But the point is, both of these teams tried to sell us on having these two coaches giving their rosters the best chance to be competitive in the short term, which I called bullshit on when they tried to sell that to us, right? If in a world where you said to me, we're not having an open coaching search at the end of this season, Thomas, Lasalo, and Adelman will be the coaches of these respective teams going forward. And what we'd like to do is give them some real-time playoff experience, giving them a head start going into next year. Okay, fine. But nobody's really said that. Both of these teams are going to have probably open coaching searches and go in the direction that they see fit. And in that world, you're trying to sell me that these two dudes are better equipped in these situations to put these cats in the best possible headspace to get out of it.
Fucking Ty Lue.
No, and I had experienced head coaches in place that these two guys, their first time around the block, the first time in the head chair, the first time in the playoffs are going to give these respective rosters the best chance to be competitive. Like that's
so out of
bullshit.
pocket.
And that's what I was saying back then. And I don't mean to be like harping on it, but that's what stands out to me watching. And that's what is the most compelling thing about these two series to me. Well, if Clippers in Denver is actually pretty good, but about this one specifically is like, really, bro?
If we knew, Raja, just to hypothetically or just to play devil's advocate, because there were rumblings of this in both cases. So let's just take it to the extreme, though. Let's say, for sake of argument, both locker rooms had completely tuned out their head coaches. I'm not saying that's exactly what happened. I think there was, again, rumblings in that direction. Let's just assume, though, that 1 through 15, no one's listening to Michael Malone, no one's listening to Taylor Jenkins. Do you still feel the same way about having them in place right now?
I do. And here's why. Because you're not listening to the motherfucker that's coaching you for 4 days. That's not happening. When the bullets start flying, nobody's listening to that motherfucker.
You didn't listen to the substitute teacher?
No one's listening to him. So there is a percent chance. Hold on, let me finish, yo. There is a percent chance, though, that like even if we've tuned out the head, right? If we've tuned him out under normal circumstances, the doldrums of an NBA season, this is getting long. We get it. But when the bullets start flying and it gets real competitive and everything gets amped up, there is a percent chance that we will listen to that because we've been in there with you before. We've seen dude in these circumstances before. And so that's all I'm saying to you, Howard. Like,
fair.
If you're trying to sell me as to the moves being made to put your team in the best situation for the playoffs, then you've lost me. If you give me some other reason, we can have the conversation. But like, that's not true.
Fair.
Good shit, Rob.
Sorry. Yeah, thanks, man.
Good, man. I agree. I just thought it was just nuts just to like have like just because you're essentially saying like you're putting an assistant coach in a week before the season in place to go against two of the and I know like we didn't know at the time when they did it how the standings were going to shake out, but like you put two assistant coaches going up against Coach Daggs and Ty Lue. Two of the best minds that we have in the league. They have no chance. Like, they don't.
Well, at least Adelman had been around the NBA for a long time. Like, Isolo just got here.
Yeah, and they might
for sure.
They might figure. Look, I'm not sitting here telling you definitively that either one of these series is over. Although, like, you know, it
Memphis
is
over.
in Memphis, right? But I want to give those coaches some credit. Like, they might be doing an okay job. I'm still sitting here telling you that the other two guys that have been, they would be doing a better job.
Yeah, I mean, and you could also make the argument in the Clippers Nuggets that the Clippers should be up 3-0 in this series, right? Like even from the standpoint, like last night was the blowout, but the Clippers have had by and large had control of this series, all of like maybe 5 minutes of the series. And some fluke shit happens. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. Let's look at the slate for tonight's games really quickly. There's some ramifications. I'll go Pacers Bucks. Don't really care about Clippers or don't really care about Celtics Magic. No one cares about that one. But Bucks Pacers, Howard, has a lot of ramifications, right? You know, Bucks come back home. They're down 0-2. I'd imagine they win this game just because they're a veteran team with pride. But if they don't, what does this say about their offseason and what's to come?
I don't know the stats in front of me, but like one of my favorite, just amusing little, like, I don't know, like the pet phrases of the postseason, right? As the team goes down 2-0 on the road. It's a long series. They just held serve. These things are lies, people. I just need you to know.
Howard's in his bag, Rob.
It's not a long series. It's best of 7. That doesn't mean it's necessarily going 7. So when you're down 2-0, I don't know the percentages in front of me, but like the team down 2-0, like loses the series like 75, 79% or something of the time. So it's not a long series. They didn't just hold serve. If you want to win a series and you're the team that's on the road for the first 2 games, you're supposed to steal one of those 2 games, else you're probably toast. So they're in trouble, and not just by the ledger, but by watching the games. Like the Pacers are just a better, deeper, more talented, more athletic team that can beat you more ways. And Giannis is doing all the Giannis things, and he's been great But like the drop off from him, like Dame came back, like, granted, they missed Dame game 1, game 2, Dame is there, but Dame hadn't played in a month and looked like he hadn't played in a month. But even Dame at full strength, like, I think we've seen enough to know, like, Dame and Giannis, this thing is not saving that franchise. And then you're down to Bobby Portis and Kyle Kuzma, and just, and the drop off gets even worse after that. All respect to Brook Lopez, but he's up there. Yeah, I think we all know where this is going, guys. They're going to lose this series.
Is that a prediction?
It's just a reality. I mean,
Okay.
it's not
All
a
right.
prediction.
All right.
I just said you down 2-0, like 70 something %. You're going to lose. Unless something crazy happens, injuries or otherwise. Yeah, the Bucks are losing this series, and the Bucks are going to have, like, you talk about the soul searching thing. These are the stakes of NBA playoffs in the modern era. When you have a star of Giannis's caliber and you flame out too many years in a row, then you have all the questions. And the question is going to be, does Giannis want out? Is this the time? He's hinted in the past at the possibility of chasing championships elsewhere. He's been a loyal soldier. He's been, loyal to Milwaukee. I want to be here for my entire career. Dame Lillard said the same thing for years in Portland until he didn't.
Hey, Howard, Larry June once said, in order to grow, you got to let go.
Giannis is letting go of Milwaukee. Is that what you're saying?
I just said what Larry June said because I've been listening to him this morning, but it seemed poignant for this discussion.
That's very poignant. I agree.
Yeah. Clutch Plays is brought to you by Amazon Business. And as a part of Clutch Plays, we're going to talk about a play. I don't know if it's clutch or not. We're going to talk about it. It was an action that happened in the game. Anthony Edwards got fined $50,000 for talking about yelling into the stands. Can I say that on this Spotify? He just said that his "you feel me" is bigger than the other person's "you feel me." And
then he grabbed the same area.
And then he grabbed the "you feel me," and he was fined by the league $50,000. Me and Howard talked about this in a pre-pod meeting. I was wondering, just like, this type of shit happens all the time, right? But in the advent of social media and like viral clips, like this got blown out. What were your thoughts on this fine? And like, what does it say about like the modern NBA and where we are? Because I know back in your day, and sure as hell back in Howard's day, wilder shit was said on the court and to fans, and nothing happened because we didn't see it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. How much did he get fined for that?
50 G's.
Yeah, I mean, he's like whatever. 50. He's like 50 grand. Okay.
Raj, you know how much he's been fined total for the season? Because now it's not just just 50 grand.
Yeah. Now I don't know, but it's how much? What is it?
$370,000.
Yeah, that's not like that changes it a little.
As I saw online, somebody else pointed this out. That's like more than some WNBA players make in a season.
That's
like,
crazy.
It's a lot. So,
more than some. That's like half the team.
Yeah.
WNBA team. Yeah.
So it, like 50K and even the 370, considering what he makes, might be, it's easy to shrug off. But it's what that collective figure indicates about him.
Yeah. What does this say though about where he's at right now?
What's he make?
What does he make today? What is his salary? Let me see.
A gajillion.
Anthony Edwards, because he just signed a 2 Edwards salary. Or pocket watch, so $42 million, and like he's the face of Adidas. He's fine. He's fine.
Trust me,
he ain't missing no meals.
He's still saying whatever.
Yeah.
He ain't tripping off of that. Like we are not. Do I think that's responsible? No, but he's still saying, "Yeah, I'm not tripping off of that." Whatever.
That's the Adidas, but he got the Sprite commercial every time I fucking turn on the fucking TV. He's on there.
But I would say, like, yeah. Things are said back and forth. Things have been said back and forth between, fans and players. Typically, players don't cross the line of like vulgarity and stuff like that unless it's already been crossed by a fan or it's just belligerent and berating from a fan, right? Like enough is enough. And this isn't an excuse for what he said, by the way. Like, I'm not trying to be making an excuse for him. I'm just trying to describe it, right? Like, if I'm out there hooping and you're just talking shit to me, I'm going to talk shit back. Like, maybe, but it's not going to rise to the level of me, saying stuff like that unless you're already in that space, or some of the stuff coming out of your mouth is just so wild and obnoxious, or it just is incessant and it won't stop. And so, I don't know what the interaction was with the fan. I don't really give a shit. I would say the same thing I say to my damn kids. I just had this conversation in the car this morning with my son Ty. It was like, look, man, you guys live in a pretty cool world, man. Like, as high school athletes, you're getting paid. Like, as college athletes, you guys are making millions. Like, with that comes some really cool opportunities that I didn't get to partake in as a high school or college kid. But what I did get to do was live a childlike, like, adolescent life that was free from being judged by everyone else, because it wasn't streamed or caught on flip phones or camera phones or posted on the internet for everyone to see. So, with your this platform and all of these, like, good opportunities comes some responsibility and comes some things that you got to navigate that I did not have to navigate. And for Ant, it would be like, yo, bro, hey.
Ant is wilding right now, bro.
But that's
wilding.
caught. It's caught. It's caught.
Because you see everywhere Ant goes, there's 12 camera phones that are like, he knew what he was doing.
Look, back then, people were just heckling you to heckle you. Like, to get the back and forth in some instances, because they enjoyed that. Right? Like, they got to go home and say, got him. Hey, man, I had Roger Bell in there talking about, hey, bro, I was in his ass tonight. Like, they got to do that. Now that person is already filming. They're filming as they heckle you to just see what you're going to do and see if they can catch you in the moment. And I'm not above that moment. Like, I'm sitting here telling you, as the 23 to 30 some year old that played, like, in the heat of the moment,
as the evolved human,
I would have turned around and said some wild shit and been caught all over everything. But like, you gotta understand what you're dealing with, man. And he might not care. And if he doesn't care, like, well, who am I to tell him to? But, like, you gotta know that.
Yeah. I mean, the thing with Anthony Edwards is, and like this one, like it was good natured. No, but it was like good natured, right? Like, you see the look on his face, like he's having fun. Like, this isn't one of those, like, we've had, whether it was Russell Westbrook in Utah and some other incidents where it's been like fan versus player, and it's been like super aggressive and over the line and nasty, and people saying shit they should never actually say. Like, that's a different category. There's no threat going on here. this is not a fight. True. Anthony was just having fun. They're just talking shit to each other, which in a different era, in an era before cell phones with video capability, where everything can get blasted out in the world to the world immediately, it's fine. There was no danger here. There's nothing for us to worry about. The hand wringing, if there is any, from the league and from others, will be more about, is this appropriate? Is this appropriate as a role model? We use that term loosely, but like, kids are watching, kids are listening. I mean, look, we drop a lot of F-bombs on this show. We're not fucking shy about it. I'm not sure I want players to have to be either. I have advocated in the past and have said, I have mocked some of the league's, over policing of language at the in press conferences and stuff. But you're sitting there in front of 20,000 people, and as you're yelling back and forth with this fan and grabbing your junk and talking about the size of your junk and everything, like, at some point, like the rules of decorum need to apply, probably. And I've got a lower bar. He didn't follow the rules of decorum around Barack Obama, bro. You think he's gonna give a fuck about what the dude said? You think he's gonna care about somebody courtside? Here's the bigger picture. If I'm gonna just zoom out for a second, he also got 17 techs this season and got suspended for the last game of the season because he went over the limit of techs. And when I mentioned that $370,000 figure, that includes, I think, all the tech fines that go with it.
And a game check if he I don't know if it was in the fines, but he probably got a game check. Well, I got a question for you real quick, Howard, and Raja as well. And I want to play, I don't know if this is devil's advocate, but I'm going to play this role. there's definitely going to be somebody that listens to this podcast and is like, oh, you guys is over here laughing about Ant and what he did, but y'all ain't laughing about Ja. Y'all not laughing about all these other people that are doing stuff. What is the line here? I'll start with Raja. What is the line here where we tell like Ant, like because there is a maturity thing in this as well, right? Just like there was with Ja, just like there was with other people. Like, how do we talk about that part too as well?
Well, number one, I've already said that Ant needs to continue to mature, and I think I've said this year that I've seen some maturity out of his game and stuff like that. But I've said in the past that the antics are immature, right? Like I've said that. I think the difference with Ant for me is like, but there are a lot of them. I've talked about like Luka having something to say every single time there's a call that he doesn't like.
Series
and like,
as well.
It's obnoxious. He needs to mature. Like Nikola Jokic is the best player on the planet, and he's obnoxious with it. Like there's some of that too. So like if I come off like I'm not giving them the same amount of grief as I give Ja, it would be because Ja and what he has been reported to be involved with is very, very dangerous. Like it's dangerous in a way that telling someone your junk is bigger than theirs isn't, right? Like you're pointing lasers at people's heads, like allegedly, like the people that you're with. Like those are dangerous things. Like there's a young man that claims that he was at your house and you all someone beat the shit out of him because like these are physical, dangerous assaults. Like
I think that case was dropped, by the way, just to make sure.
But I said claiming. Right. But I said claiming, right? Like you're brandishing weapons on live streams and stuff like that. Like guns are a huge issue in the world, in America certainly, and people and kids are looking up to you and they're buying your sneakers and stuff. I find that to be different than you having a self-control issue on the court and getting technical fouls. That's me personally. If people want to debate that, that's fine. We can do that. But I think that they're two separate. While both being immature on some level, two different things we're talking about.
Yeah.
I think we want to see young players in this league. You understand that guys come in and they're often like 19 years old, 20 years old. They're not fully evolved. None of us were at that age. And so I always say, like, we got to give players a lot of grace. They are growing up literally in front of our eyes with this searing spotlight, cameras around them all the time, especially now in today's environment with social media and everything else. So like give guys a chance to evolve. And we're going to see guys come in sometimes not fully prepared to deal with all the pressures and all the fame and all the wealth and all the publicity. That's fine. But you do have to show some ability to evolve along the way. Even if Raja didn't want to evolve, today's young players do need to. So, So I think that if we're going to put those two in the same sentence, Anthony Edwards and Ja Morant, I think it's both these guys came into the league, in the same era, both really young, both super talented, both could be all-time greats if they want to be, if they are committed enough to it, and could be faces of the league and have both been projected to be and talked about as the next faces of the league when LeBron and Steph and Durant are gone. But you have to do the other necessary things. It's not enough just to be an incredible dunker and to put up highlight reels. You have to win. You have to lead. You have to mature. And so it's fair to judge them both through that prism. Again, very different things. And Raja said it really well, why Ja and Anthony Edwards are different in this regard because of what's happened a lot off the court. But look, I'll admit this last piece that for me, like I have a contradiction in my own head. I want guys to be themselves. Like I want the personality to come through. I like part of what Anthony Edwards, the appeal of him is that there's a little bit of this kind of mischievousness and it's a lack of maturity at times, but he's kind of fun and he's just himself. And I want guys to be themselves, but like there's still a line. And when you cross that line repeatedly, you get fined $370,000 over the course of a season. And at some point between the texts and the profanity and the gestures and getting into it with fans, like you have to reel in some of that to show us that you are more focused on the game and on winning and to show that you are worthy of that pedestal of being a face of the league.
Look, I agree. I'm sorry. Let me just add, Howard, I want people to be themselves too. I agree with you 100%. But this is life, right? Like this is life. You aren't going to be or you're going to be the same person whether you're at this beachside bar, seven shots deep in Dominican Republic, or if you're at a gala raising money for any worthy cause. You're the same person. You're going to have the same personality. We want you to be who you are, but you're not going to act the same in both places.
Yeah.
Right? Like you're going to be you, but like you're not going to act the same in both places because it's not appropriate to do so. And that's what we're talking about.
Yeah. Well said.
Whew. Let me make sure I get this right. A last-second three-pointer, that's the kind of play that defines winners. And when it comes to business, Amazon Business is your clutch performer. With vast access to essential supplies and flexible purchasing options, they are there when you need them the most. So you can tackle unexpected demands and keep your business in the game. Visit business.amazon.com to learn more. And I present Cliff Augustin to the program once again for our motherfucking mailbag. Hello, Cliff.
Good afternoon, fellas, man. What's going on? First of all, I want to give a shout out to the Philadelphia Eagles for drafting the best linebacker in the draft at 32. So go Birds. You already know what it is. Shout out to Logan's now Las Vegas Raiders. They drafted my cousin, Ashton Genty. You know what I'm saying?
Is that really your cousin?
That's not my cousin. It's any Haitian professional athlete, that's my cousin.
Respect.
All right, let's get to this.
I was really about to go like, yo, can I get a signed jersey? What's up? Like I'm about to ask Roger for a signed Dia jersey when he go to Austin. Stop playing. I'm about to ask for one.
Yeah.
I've been asking for merch for fucking years and I still ain't got no merch, but I'm about to get a signed jersey.
Yeah, Raj, horns
I'm
up.
send you a link to the merch site, dog.
Yo.
Wow. Bro, this is how I know Roger doesn't fuck with me, bro. Because when we first started the pod, I was like, yo, let me get some merch. He's like, yo, I got you. Send the Addy. It's good. It's good. And now it's like, I'll give you a link to the merch site. What the fuck, man?
Well, in fairness, he ain't have no merch when we started it. So like that was like an American Heritage merch. And I don't really have my claws on that. They don't give that to me. He does have a merch site, though. You could go check it out.
Does he have his own merch site?
Yeah. Yeah, go check out at DKB3 on Insta and like in his bio, there's a little link to his merch site. Go ahead and get crazy.
Get the fuck out of here.
Go crazy.
Yeah.
I like that.
Oh, wait, hold on real quick. I just want to say that I followed Dia obviously on Instagram and I looked at his story and this is how I know he's an awesome child because he reposted a fucking video of you clotheslining Kobe and just with the laughing emojis. And I think I don't know what the caption was, but it was something like, if Dia's dad does something like this, you know you don't want to fuck with Dia or something like that. But it was hilarious that he had that sense of humor. So respect to him. I'm going to look up his merch right now.
Appreciate that. Appreciate you.
All right,
Anyways.
First question is from Rob. Evening real ones. Raja, I've just made you the Nuggets GM. You've just been bounced by the Clippers in round 1. Jokic says he's happy to stay for life, but what moves are you making? Is it time to cash in on Murray, or are you moving MPJ? Jokic needs more help, but it's difficult without sacrificing too much. Great show. Appreciate the response. Rob, Sheffield, England.
Okay, Rob. Thanks for the question, dog. Yeah, for me, I've said this before, I think. Like MPJ, I like him. Good player. Yeah, that I could move that. I would move that. I would see, obviously try to figure out exactly what I could get for that. But that's a piece. Jamal is an interesting one for me. I am a Jamal fan. I like Jamal. I like Jamal and Jokic together. I take a call. I don't know that I would be necessarily out there pitching him to people, but I take a call. I would shop MPJ though, personally.
I would say the same. I would say the same. Because I feel like, to Roger's point, I think that Murray is more of an institutional piece for this team, right? That's somebody that their bread and butter, the partnership between him and Jokic has been great. MPJ has just been way too inconsistent to justify keeping him on long term, and he's your biggest asset to shop, right? A lot of teams around the league want a guy like him, whether he's inconsistent or not. But if you want to improve your roster, he is the guy to trade, absolutely.
They're both making a shit ton of money. And Jamal Murray's got a max deal and a bad injury history and has had a really kind of funky last year and a half or so. So the difficulty here is there's not a lot of there's not a lot of moves you can make, right? Like Aaron Gordon would be really marketable too, but like you need Aaron Gordon.
Yeah.
Michael Porter Jr. of the core guys left from the championship team is the one who's the most dispensable, but that also means that any team acquiring him knows that too, and they're not necessarily wanting to give up a lot to get him. I think even Jamal Murray, you might have, like, let's say you put everybody on the table. And by the way, they lose in the first round and it's crisis time.
Everybody on the table.
Nothing's nailed down. And, you don't want to break up this incredible pick and roll combination, but like you have to consider everything and you have to consider whatever gets you the talent and depth that you need around Jokic. I'm not sure how much you're getting back for Jamal Murray either, though, because of the contract and the injury history. And as much as we talk about him as being like a co-star, he's never been an all-star team or an all-NBA team. I think the Nuggets are in a really, really tough spot here.
Then we didn't even talk about the fact that they don't even have a fucking GM right now. Like, they need to make a decision on that fast, considering the summer that that is approaching right now. Like, they have a lot to figure out.
No, they got this, bro.
It's nuts.
They got this. They're in the best position for everybody right now.
Yeah, that's what they did. That's why they did it for, right? Yeah. Jesus.
That's true. And Jokic is year 30 as well. This is from Amol Sinho. Hi, guys. First of all, shout out to Howard Beck. I learned about you years ago through the 3 most anticipated words in niche basketball podcasting and enjoy hearing you on all Ringer podcasts. You're on now. Now that Memphis is about to get eliminated, I've started thinking of Ja trades. First one, who says no to Ja for KD straight up, assuming contracts work? For Phoenix, it could give them a runway to start entertaining while they ride out the Bill contract in Memphis with KD. Could make some noise next year. Number 2, Ja for Sabonis. Sabonis could be pretty effective in Memphis with a free safety like JJJ roving around on defense to help him. Kang's going to Kang and just get butts in seats with Ja to fight for 34 wins and a 10th seed either way. Looking forward to hearing your thoughts. Best, Amol.
Thank you for the kind words, Amol. Appreciate it. I hope we're pronouncing your name correctly.
I checked it beforehand so I can make sure he's pronouncing it correct.
All right, cool.
Word.
Way to go, Cliff. That's why you're the ace producer. So the first one, who says no to Ja for KD straight up? The Grizzlies say no. KD's awesome, but KD's nearing the end. He's got a year or 2 left. He's also going to potentially want a contract extension. Their salaries don't match, by the way. KD's making 51 now, 54 next season. Ja's making 37, going up to 39 next season. So now the Grizzlies have to throw in more stuff. I don't even know how much more complicated this would be because of second apron shit with the Suns and everything. I don't think that's the match. The Kings one. Listen,
I can see that happening. I can definitely see that happening. That would be awesome.
Logan, were you and I the ones talking about this yesterday?
We were talking about it yesterday.
We were just talking about like which team is the most like if Ja or
this was
LaMelo,
before the question came, right? I believe, right? Or maybe you saw the question. Maybe he saw the question beforehand and saw it. Okay,
not when we were talking yesterday.
But like that would be awesome. It would be an awesome just display of what the circus is.
The Kings are
the Kings. They are absolutely interested in Ja Morant.
The Kings are absolutely the team that's going to get one of the slightly scuffed up stars that they're going to say, like, this is our new savior. Because
whether it's Ja, whether it's like LaMelo, they are definitely in the mix for all of that.
For sure. And
they're going to have Doug Christie coach.
I'm sorry to all my friends in Sacramento. But Amol, his proposal was like for Sabonis. I think if you're getting Ja, you want him with Sabonis probably. Also, I don't think Sabonis fits with the Grizzlies that well. And then also like the Grizzlies are left without really anybody to initiate the offense. So
also I would say like firing notwithstanding too, like the coach firing, I think the Grizzlies front office is too smart to do a move like that. I don't think they would just do that. I don't think they would even entertain it. But it would be hilarious. And the Kings would definitely push for it. Look out for the Kings to make some dumbass decisions in the summertime. Raj, you got any thoughts?
No, I'm good. You guys are the Kings experts, bro.
By the way, as Logan says that, I just want to make it clear, we're basing this on ownership, not necessarily on the new front office or anybody else. We're basing this on like the owner has not changed. It doesn't matter how many people they fire. The owner is the owner.
They have Monty McNair, who was I could say he had his faults or whatever, but I think he was really solid as a GM. And I think he got overrode on a lot of things. He's going to get his job fast, and he's going to pop up somewhere else. Like, I do trust in Monty McNair.
Yeah.
Any more questions, Cliff? What's
Yeah,
going on?
let's knock out this next one. This is from Ines. Ines, what's up, real ones? There's been a lot of outcry on Twitter about the Rockets' physicality with the Warriors. I was curious, what was your guys' thoughts about the way that they are playing the Warriors? Isn't one of the main complaints about this era is that the league is too soft? So why is this a problem? You're only Idahoan Cavs fan. Ines.
Oh, okay. Shout out to Idaho. I will say this, man. I think it's physical both ways. And I don't think that's a hot take. I think the Warriors have definitely been complaining more. But like before I got on this podcast, I just saw a montage of Draymond Green literally throwing people around. Like he's throwing Amen Thompson. In the first 12 minutes of the game, he's out here throwing Amen Thompson around, throwing Dylan Brooks, throwing all these people around, and then they go back and say, well, it's too physical. I will say, I think it's a physical series, and the refs are really letting them play. The Warriors are absolutely affected by it, but they are playing right into Ime Udoka's hands and the Rockets' hands by complaining, because I'm going to tell you one thing, and I've been there. I've been through all the games this series up in Houston. Ime is not letting up. All the complaints are just going to say Ime is going to make Ime say, do that shit even more. Because it's also it's the playoffs, man. This is what it is, dude. Jesus. It's not too, it's the right type of physicality, right? That's what I think.
It's the
They're
appropriate
beating the
level
shit out
of
of Steph
physicality.
like they're supposed to do.
Yeah. Listen, Draymond's the dude that just takes the philosophy of, if I just keep doing it, they'll stop calling it. Right? I'm just going to keep doing it. Some of his playthrough, some of his he gets tied up and the next thing you know, he's shooting a jab in somebody's face. You're like, how did that level of contact prompt you to jab someone in the face?
Bro, did you see the Draymond flop? It was awesome. It was
when he went
awesome.
to the one to the baseline into the
when Jalen Green gave him a little nudge to the face, but he did the delay. It was phenomenal.
Phenomenal. Look, the physicality is the appropriate level of physicality. Because you're right, Logan, it is the playoffs. And I've told you that earlier in the pod that my favorite series is the Knicks in Detroit. It's been pretty decent basketball back and forth. The games have been compelling, but the physicality is a part of it for me. I would just add that it has to be like that when you try to play Golden State in a tuxedo, that's their game. You don't want to try to play them in the game that they are the best at. You want to drag them into the mud. You want to get them in a phone booth and just tussle, right? That's what you're trying to do. The reason sometimes it looks crazy is because it's Steph and his size and his freedom of movement. Everyone's just so used to watching people, he runs around. So when you start,
you see how they're playing him on them screens right now, dude? They're literally just fucking
boxing him.
They're just boxing him and just trying to squeeze him to death, bro.
Yeah, and I'm here for it. And obviously I'm a huge Steph fan, and Steph is going to continue to work and figure it out. But no one's had an answer for Steph for a decade. I'm here for let's try something. Let's get physical. Let's put,
If you look at the and Howard's just on the phone right now, just literally on the phone. But Raja, this is, if you look at the roster that the Rockets have and their limitations, this style of play is literally all they have. Right? This is how they win these games.
Wheelhouse.
They have to muck up. They can't play in the half court. If you they have to run and they have to beat the shit out of the Warriors. That's how they win games. They don't have they have a great defense and they don't have a really imaginative offense. This is who they are. This is how they're going to win.
Who they are. Yes, you have to be physical. You have to turn people over and get out in transition. And I said at the beginning when they lost game one, there's a world in which they're sitting there, disappointed we lost, but really everyone's shaking hands saying, "Good job, guys. We didn't win, but good shit. Good shit. This is going to take a toll. Good shit. Keep plugging, keep banging, and keep chopping. It's going to be fine." And
bro,
that's
the
where they got to keep
amount of ice bags and fucking wraps that I saw in Houston yesterday or 2 days ago was astounding. Howard, we said this pre-playoffs. Whoever gets through this series, whoever plays Houston, they can beat Houston. but they're going to get their ass kicked. Like, that's just the reality of the situation. Like, they're going to be whoever plays Houston in the next round, they're going to feel it, and it's going to affect them in the next round if they get through. And it's not even a guarantee if they get through. It's a 1-1 series.
No, the Rockets are really physical. They're old school. It's what makes them who they are. It's why they've succeeded this season. It's not changing anytime soon. No, it hasn't been over the line. We talked about it earlier. I think a lot of this is just stemming from the Amen Thompson, Jimmy Butler thing, which we've all agreed was just shit that happened. I don't think there's anything over the line. I love what the Rockets do. I love what Ime has done with that team. And no, I do not envy whoever they're facing in the next round.
You know what I like though? They got some swag to them, the Rockets. I talked to Dylan Brooks the other day, and he said he called the Howard's got a roll. He has to call. He has a call with important people. It's usually Raja that wraps this shit up, but it's me. Anyway,
way to go, Howard. I got to get out of here too, bro.
He called the Warriors a stepping stone, which was so gangster. He said, yeah, they're a stepping stone. They're a good team, but they're a stepping stone to where we want to go. I'm like, damn, bro, somewhat swag, respect. And so Howard is gone. Raja's still here, but that has been another edition of Real Ones. Just fucking keep that in. Keep that shit in. Raj ain't even bold enough to do that yet. But we will see you guys on Tuesday via Rod. Talk to y'all soon. realonesmailbag@gmail.com, baby. Talk to y'all soon. All the shits. Bye. Must be 21 years and older and present in select states for Kansas, in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino, or 18 and older and present in D.C. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rghelp.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut. Or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelpma.org or call 1-800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts. Or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York.